I'm just gonna spray paint the silver little trim things. What I've done is I've put a screw through from the underside and then just pushed them over it because it's hard to keep it in a straight line as well as vertical enough to be able to spray both sides properly. Right, so I've now sprayed them in the copper metallic to match the kitchen doors. Now it's just time to fit. I've already done the back window just so I could see how the corners would be done, because I've done it in one piece and then just cut the back and then folded the corners. So that's the back window curtain cover. I've also done the kitchen already. So you've got one going across here, and then if you can see, just the trim going across the bottom. So I've just got the front bit to do. So I'll start this end just because of the corner that I've got to do, rather than starting the other end. Just check to make sure I've got a nice finish on the side that you're going to see. And then it's a case of, where's my knife? What I'm going to do is hold it against the wall where it's going to meet to, and then at the corner I'm just going to cut the back half of it just so it has an easier bend. So you just mark where you're going to be doing it. So then you just cut the one side just so that when you fold it, the crease has got somewhere to go. So then you just need to open it up. It's quite fiddly. Open it up and then push it. It's got some sticky adhesive on the inside, so you don't really want to be taking it off and on too often. Then you've got your crease in. You need to try and fold it round, and then try and get it on. All at the same time. Like so. And it's just a case of pushing down and wiggling at the same time, and if it won't go down or starts to fold in, you just need to get your nail or something underneath just to unhook it. When you get so far down it and you get near your wall, just hold it up, because I did cut these purposely too big, just in case. So just hold it up against where you're going, and then just cut whatever excess you think. It needs off. Just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle and push. A bit more. Make sure it's all down. That's the top one down. Same again. Hold it to where it's going to be. Just mark where you need to cut it. So I've cut it again just to the bottom. Another thing is you don't want to be putting it on and then pushing it along the piece of wood because of the glue. You'll just pull it off, or it won't. Obviously a little bit like that, but you don't want to be doing like a good half a metre. You just won't have any stick left. For some reason this one's sticking out a little bit, so I'm just going to cut a section off. One second. Voila, top one. Sometimes when you're doing it upwards, it is a bit more awkward. Also depends on how clean your plywood cut is, whether or not it's got a few chips hanging off. So there we go. I think that really finishes it off, and I don't know why. Something so simple. Just need to get the handle screwed on. I've already started filling the door. I've trimmed it, I just need to undercoat now. So, I finally managed to get some of the plastic hinges for the lockers. I ordered a few things. I got them, the cabinet hinges and a table for the front connector thing. So I'm just going to mark. I'm just going to mark where the centre is. So the centre is roughly where that join is. Make sure it's coming off the wall roughly the same. So we've got the centre here, and then what I'll do is maybe do one 3 inches off the end. So 3 inches off the end. Same on that side. So you obviously need to make sure it doesn't open up and rub the wall. I have cut a little bit off that end. I'm going to butt it up as much as I can to that end. Realise something. Don't know how my screws are going to stay fixed to it. So what I've just done is I've just screwed them to the actual flap of the seat, and then what I've done is I've just ground the bottom of the screw off so it's flush with the under panel. Hopefully that'll stay secure enough. If not, I'll have to chisel out my framework and put a little notch in. Get one each side. So I just need to get my interiors, whatever I'm doing with them, just so that it keeps the ply down, so that it can flatten out a little bit, because it is a bit bowing. There's not really anything I can put on it. So same again, I've cut it off that side a little bit. Spot it up and then see whereabouts you can get it to without it scraping the wall. Seems to be there somewhere. the centre. Quickly grind these off, as you can see. So I've just ground them flush. So that is the front lockers finished. Getting the plywood's bowing a little bit, but once it's on, it's on. Obviously when you're opening it, it's not going to go the full way now, because I've now got the cover panel on that, which at the minute is removable. So I took my wood to work today to rebuild the table. That is the finished product. Basically, this is the original. Now the veneer's all chipped away on the edge. Just general, not very good condition, and it's not as wide as the beds, so I'm not sure if that was used for the mattress to go on top of, but for width ways for the double bed to be across, it just wouldn't work. So my new one is longer. I just need to trim the sides down so it fits between the bases, but basically that was on that end. I'm not sure if you can see where it was attached. So what I've done is I took that off, and then I added some offcuts of the pine board, and then I just use this as a template to cut a new piece out for the end. I made it slightly not as wide, because the old dinette table is about 5mm ish thicker than the new one, so I've obviously made it smaller, and so it's level. ish. So that's that. I've took the old table leg off it, so that I don't need anymore. So obviously I've put the new table leg on. I also used the old one as a template to cut the slight curve in it. I just need to sand all the edges down once I know it fits in. Just fold this leg up. So as you can see, because it's not as thick, as well as the fact it's pine board, which is made up of strips of pine, obviously I've got the back edge which is screwed in to the edge of the board. I'm going to glue that as well once I've sanded this down, because it's not perfectly straight. But what I've also done is I had a long offcut as well. It's 50mm wide, and then I've just glued and screwed these across the table, 2 points. That still has a little bit of movement, which is fine. Obviously it's brought it off the edge a bit, but it's just to give support so that when you're sleeping on it, I don't want the joints starting to split, so I've just done that just mainly for a bit more support. So I just need to unscrew this. I need to sand all this nice, the edge nice. I need to sand the top of that so it's flush, so this can screw on nicely with glue. Sand all around it, and I think I've made these slightly too wide to fit on there, so I need to trim that down and then make sure the width of it fits in as well. Yeah. So I've just trimmed the edge of this down so now it slots in the gap correctly, and I've smoothed all the edges again. Now I'm just going to put on the new table to wall bracket thing. So I've recut this because I did pre-drill it onto the end, but then my screw got stuck in there, and then when I was trying to hit it out, it snapped it. So basically that's the bit that's going to be going on the wall, and then this bit slots underneath with that little bit that's sticking up there. So you need to make sure that it's that way round, and I've just had to cut it down so it fits it the correct side. I just need to pilot drill some holes across the bottom now and then screw it to this. Once that's on, I can then temporary fix it there until I get the table the same measurement each end up from the floor. I'm not going by the level because I'm not sure if the Caravan's level or not. So if you go from the floor upwards, tape measure, as long as the same measurement hit near each end roughly. Obviously you've got to think about your floor covering thickness, and then that way I'll know how high to screw that onto the end panel. What I've done is I've just screwed 5 screws into the base of the end support. I've just held the end support up and made it so the same measurement is each end to the floor roughly. Just measured it so the same measurement is each end to the floor, and then now I've just lined up 4 holes that I just need to screw into the end, and then I just need to cut that strip down and screw it to the actual end panel for the table to link into. So I've screwed that to the edge now with 4 screws. The only thing I've got left to do on this is to screw the actual receiving plate on the top of the trim there, but I don't want to do that until I've decided whether or not any cables are going over here somewhere, because I'll need access to it. Apart from that, the cable from the side lights or front lights, whatever you want to call them, are all in there. I've just got to bring the rear electrics somewhere through here to meet it, but that's not on my list right now.